Today I want to talk about clearing a handgun. And by clearing it, I mean making sure that it's empty. Anytime you pick up a gun or anytime someone hands you a gun, you should always clear it. And you should always follow the 4 basic safety rules. Let's start with semi-automatic pistols. To clear a semi-automatic, the first thing you need to do is drop the magazine. Make sure that that is what you do first. The next thing you need to do is open the slide and visually inspect the chamber. Now keep in mind, with some pistols you're going to have to take the safety off. This is where it's important to make sure you're following all the basic safety rules. Know the backstop, know where the muzzle is pointing, make sure it's in a safe direction, and more importantly, keep your finger off of the trigger. Now on the 1911, that's one of the guns where you're going to have to remove the safety to open the slide. So you remove the safety or disengage it, open the slide, visually inspect the chamber, look at the chamber to make sure there's not a round in the chamber. Then close the slide. The last thing to do is point the muzzle in a safe direction, and in this case, down is a safe direction. In some cases it may not be down. At the range I usually just point it down to the berm. But here I know what the backstop is, I know this is a safe direction, so I'll point the muzzle down and pull the trigger. Now I know the gun's empty. This is particularly important if you're going to dry fire. Make sure that you always clear the gun before you dry fire. And as I mentioned, you should clear the gun every time you handle one. I don't care if you clear it, hand it to your friend, they hand it back to you, clear it again. You can never be too safe when handling firearms. Now for a revolver, it's a little bit simpler. With a revolver, you open the cylinder, and if there are cartridges in the cylinder, I dump them into my hand, I count the number of cartridges first, then I count the number of chambers in the cylinder. If I know that there are 6 cartridges and I can count 6 empty chambers in the cylinder, I know the gun's empty. If it's 5, then I look for 5. But the main thing is that I count the cartridges and count the chambers in the cylinder to make sure it's empty. Once I've done that, I can close the cylinder and I know the gun's clear. Again, it's the same thing with a revolver as it is with a semi-auto. Every time you touch it, every time someone hands you a gun, the first thing you should do is clear it and make sure it's empty. And always follow the basic safety rules. Remember, be safe, have fun, shoot.